Hi, my name is Marget Maldonado. I'm sharing with you today another video of an easy way to create your own salve. With the same intention we did the other videos before, just getting inspired with the things that we have around to create our own things. In this case, it's just a healing salve, and that I got inspired to make, mostly because I use my hands a lot, farming, flowers and cutting flowers, making flower arrangements. So I always have to put things in my hands. So making my own stuff, found like a good way to just incorporate things that I found around in infusing the oils, and also a good way to have all the time something handy for my hands that I made myself with intentions and care and things that I found in the land. So I think that is what I'm sharing with you today. My first inspiration, I guess, from making a salve is something we usually have. I have in my city, in my country. A good friend of mine made these ones in Venezuela. And these are just beeswax from his bees with virgin sesame oil. And it's very nice. I all the time use it in my skin. And I love it. And with that same idea, I thought to make a salve that could be something natural, something that I found around. I've been infusing oils with the same intention, with things that I found in my land, like plantain and wild chamomile, or plants from my gardens, like lavenders, mints, so different things, depend on what I wanted to achieve with it. Of course, it takes information and it takes the pen of what you want to achieve, like, understand the plan that you're working with, the benefits, or what would you like to do with it. This one is a very simple oil that I infuse, thinking about Christmas trees and what happened with them after. And so I find it fascinating that I've been infusing the white pine and some of the needles of the balsam, and they're amazing, and they have this amazing medicine, and it's all year long available to us. I mean, these ones are from spring, so it's kind of like a stronger medicine in a different way because they're very tender and they're infusing the oil very nice. But the oil that I'm gonna use in this which is this one, you can notice the color of the oil is very rich. This was infused with my Christmas tree from last Christmas. It was a balsam fern that we cut from a property. And then after I took all the decorations, I just cut most of the tips. I made a lot of jars. I didn't infuse the whole Christmas tree, but I made a lot of jars, and I've been making medicine for my girls and for me. So just itself, I use the oil sometimes for massage because it's good for circulation. So, the same thing after being spent too much or farming or doing things, at night, I just do a nice warm massage and put my legs up, and this is amazing. And it's like I say, it's very simple. It's infusing the pine. In this case, I use grapeseed oil, but you could use sunflower oil. You could use avocado oil, that is great for skin too. Even olive oil. And there are many oils that you can find. Those are probably the ones that you can find easily and more affordable way too. So, and then with this rich oil, it's going to be part of our salve. It was infused for about, it was infusing or brewing for about over 4 weeks. And all the sap from the tree got kind of like in here. And I always imagine this, if that sap heals the tree after a cut, imagine what can you do for your skin in a little bit. So the oil does a great job to kind of melt the sap and take all the properties, and they are here. And you can smell it. It smells so good. And right away you can notice that there is medicine in there. So with that, I'm gonna use this oil, part of this. The recipe that I'm doing right now is very simple, but you can even make it simple and use only oil and beeswax, just as my salve from my country, just 2 ingredients. I put it in this one, not only the oil that I infuse already, which you could do also, by the way, with calendula or many other things from your garden. So I just say, maybe if you decide to use your infused oil, maybe trying to check which plants that you have available. If you don't want to use this kind, just check different techniques. Like I say, this one is a slow technique that I do, and it works very well. Also, you don't have to use an infused oil. If you don't have an infused oil, you don't have time, but we still want to make the stuff, you could always use only any oils that you have available, avocado oil, a good sunflower oil, something good for the skin. So anyway, so that's an option. I use 2 cups of this oil because I'm making kind of like a medium batch. So I can divide it in different containers. And so about 2 cups of this. And then I use, I'm kind of gonna put the board a little bit low. I use kind of this pellet beeswax. They come like this in pellets, but really you don't need this one. So just because I have these ones available already, the one that I have sometimes locally, I didn't have any. And so I use these used ones. This one come like pellets and they melt very easy. But if you have local, which is better, smells better, and local, just raw beeswax, you just have to cut it really tiny or maybe grate it to make it in little pieces and make it easier to melt. It takes a little bit to melt, so you be patient. This oil was already warm up in a double boiler, and I just use my Pyrex and I put it in my oil pan with a little bit of water, let it kind of like warm up, and then a little bit higher, turn at my beeswax that I already did, and it's melting here. And then after that, I let it kind of warm and continue warm till it's totally melt and absorbing the oil. I also gonna add to this one, just because I noticed when I make it with mango butter and shea butter, kind of make it softer. So these are 2 consistencies. You notice that this one is very soft and melts right away in your skin. Let me see if you can see how soft it is, right? So this kind is made with the shea butter and the mango butter too, but you don't have to. Like I said, you can just make it with your beeswax and your oil. You notice right away as it cools down around the edges, you start showing the soft. Yeah. And so I added to this one, besides adding, so 2 cups of the oil and about half cup or a half cup of the beeswax. I melted already. So 2 cups, half cup. And with that same proportion, you can do a smaller batch. If you do 1 cup, then add only a quarter of the beeswax, if that makes sense. But it depends on the consistencies. As you make it, don't be afraid if it gets too soft. You can always add more beeswax, warm it up, add more beeswax, and it will be a little bit thicker or a little bit harder. So with that, you can make like bars, you know, if you want to make like a harder one, it will melt as soon as it touches your skin anyway, and you can rub it in your skin, or you can make them softer, like a creamy thing, or make like a butter. So it depends on the consistency. I suggest to start kind of with a recipe, and then, which is I'm gonna give you like this simple recipe, and then you can just make it as you wish later. And then I add to this one mango butter. Oh, wait, no, this is the mango butter. It's kind of like a soft, see the consistency, kind of like a soft creamy. This is from inside the mango seed. So one of the things that I kind of like it, and I got my just online. I'm pretty sure maybe here locally you can find a store that have them, but I haven't found one yet. This one, I just got it online. This one is get from the inside of the mango seed. And it's kind of like a really buttery, creamy thing. And it's just good for your skin too. Some people use it by itself. I like to melt it in here and kind of add the properties to the stuff. I also add some shea butter, which is a little bit harder than the mango butter, but it's still very like a buttery and creamy. And it's just make, like I said, the stuff a little bit creamier, and it just work very well in the skin. So let's talk about the recipe again. So I have two measurements. It could be 2 cups of the oil, whichever it is, infused or any oil that you want to use. Half cup of the beeswax, that could be the pellets, or it could be just grated or in pieces. Let it melt, because the beeswax is the one that takes the longest to melt. After melt, then I will say like a third, like 1/3 cup between both of them. So I will say about over a spoon of each one of them, each one of the butters, mango butter and shea butter, or let's say a 1/4 cup could be 2 for that proportion. And then you notice as this oil that was very warm starts to kind of like get colder, you notice in the edges that it starts forming the syrup already. This one is very simple. So this recipe, just as itself, may give you a nice syrup that is just like the basic one that you could just add to that essential oils or anything else. This one, because it has the infused oil from the balsam, smells delicious, and it have like that kind of pine kind of like fragrance. It's very like subtle, but it smells very good. But I'm gonna just melt it in 2 containers, and I'm gonna add essential oils to them. But you could just leave it like that, and like I said, for feet massages, for your skin in general. I use it for my little one, used to get eczema a lot during winter. So for her, I do calendula infused oil, which I use the same principle. And because calendula has a lot of properties for the skin, it works very well for her. So I make her that with this similar thing. It's just infused oil, the beeswax and the shea butter. So it's starting to get harder, so I'm just gonna put it. It's not super hot, it's warm, so it's not gonna damage my glasses. And this recipe will give you a bunch. So if you wanna make less than that, I will suggest 1 cup, and then divide the same amount, like a 1/4 of the beeswax, and then half of each one of the shea butter and mango butter. You notice that it start right away. You notice if it start kind of like settle, you can see this one is very creamy, absorbs very fast. So right now it's kind of still warm and soft. Maybe even when it's lighter, it's the right moment to add the essential oils. I'm gonna add it right now. So I'm gonna do this rose geranium, and I'm gonna add, essential oils are very strong. So if you use essential oil for something that is for your skin, be sure that you're using an oil that is kind of natural, and it's kind of like better, like is for skin use. Versus something that is just perfume. So this one's therapeutic grade rose geranium. I use this one that is organic brand, that is very good. So I add, depending on how strong do you want it, but just don't overdo your essential oils anyway. I'm adding about 20 drops. And then, like I said, it just depends on how you want it. You could add it before it gets that it's hard. You can add it when it's still softer, and you probably don't need to stir it, because right away it will incorporate in the oil when it's warmer. Okay. So this one is going to be with that, and this one I just going to leave it plain, just like that. But you can add, you know, eucalyptus for like a chest rubbing salve, or you could do any mix. Like this one is stress relief blend. I have rose geraniums with orange, lemongrass, jasmine. Just depend on how you prefer it. And like I said, this recipe will give you a really creamy sauce. If you want it, if you like it not that creamy, because sometimes, you know, I hear that people say, oh, I don't like it that creamy. Just add a little bit more of the beeswax. Don't be afraid to do it, because the worst thing that can happen is just, I guess, a little bit harder, but it's not gonna damage the mix or anything. You just add a little bit more and make it a little bit sturdier or a little bit harder for your skin and less oily, and still gonna work. What I like also about the beeswax is just create kind of like a protection in your skin. And then even if you wash your hands constantly, you know, like doing chores or doing whatever, even if you wash your hands constantly, you will always have like something protecting your skin from, you know, dryness or whatever you use, chemicals, moving your hands a lot, dirt, anything that causes your skin to get dry or cracks, especially in winter. Also works amazing for feet, for heels, from the top of your heels, for, like I say, massage, many other things. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. And it's, like I say, a very simple recipe. I will share in the notes with the specific recipe so you can have it. Yeah, and don't be afraid to try to, you know, learn more about plants around that you have. Lemon balm is amazing, mints, to do different things. Like I say, it's just a whole world to learn about them and how to infuse them, how to use it in our health. I'm grateful to be in a community that there are a lot of people that have a lot of knowledge that share all the medicine, and it's amazing. So from Venezuela, in my country, we use it a lot of things, and here in Vermont, I've been learning more about what is in the land. I'm feeling very inspired by it. So yeah, I hope you like this series. I really enjoy to make them. Like I say, all of these ingredients you can find maybe online, is what I would say, but give a try to maybe some local beeswax. I know some of the natural stores around has it. It takes a little bit work to integrate it, but the smell and the and you know, you notice right away it's pure and it's from here and it's from the land. It smells amazing. It smells like more like honey. So that's a great idea too, and also to support local things going on. So thank you so much for having me. I appreciate this opportunity a lot, and I hope you get inspired to try to make some, or maybe make some with your kids, for them to get used to take care of their own skin with it little. I'm trying with my little one, especially for winter, so she doesn't get eczema or anything, and so far it works very well. Thank you.